All right, tell me who you are, how you know Mr. Liebau, and your favorite thing about him.
Oh boy. So I'm Kathy Liebau. So he's my dad, and he's the best man in the world. He loves everybody, he cares deeply, and he's the best dad a girl could ever ask for.
Trey Hall. I am Mr. Liebau's grandson. I call him Opa, which is German for grandfather. One thing that you know about him, he is undoubtedly, this is with bias, but also without bias, undoubtedly the best grandfather I could ever ask for. I love him so much. He is, I feel bad for other people because they don't get to call him their biological grandfather. He does have many unbiological grandchildren, and I've watched him be an absolute blessing to so many people, and I would not give it up for the world. I love you, Opa.
So, Elizabeth Moak, and I have known Mr. Liebau since I was about age 7 or 6 or so when they moved to Oxford. My favorite thing about him would be his sense of humor and his being so supportive. I don't know how I would have managed all through these years without his support and steadfastness. So.
I'm Barbara Grimes. I've known Ray as Barbara Newman, Barbara Murph, and now Barbara Grimes. I've known him since I was 18, and I started studying with him. I lived in Tupelo and came to Ole Miss, and that's how I began to know him. And he's always been one of my very favorite people in the world. And I don't have very many favorites, but he's been like right at the top of the list. And I think one of the things I loved about him was the fact that he, no matter what happened, no matter how much in the wrong I was, it didn't make any difference. He was always on my side, always stood up for me, and like Jeff said, he's always been part of my family.
Oh my goodness. My name is Jeff Myers. I've known Ray since I was 15 years old, and I'm 68 now. He started teaching me when I was a junior in high school. We had heard about him and heard how famous he was because they had heard of him over in Pontotoc. So I assumed he was famous, and I told him so. He's never let me forget that either. My favorite thing about him, he was my best man at my wedding. He made me aspire to be just like him in so many ways, but mostly his demeanor and his abilities. But even if it weren't anything to do with music, he is part of my family. A brother, sometimes father.
I know him from church, and I sat behind Opa, which is what I call him, on, like, I guess this is probably 2.5, 3 years ago now, and I sing harmony. So I was singing alto behind him, and he turned around during our fellowship time, and he's like, "Is that you singing?" So that's actually how we started talking. And then that was his first Sunday there. And then we just struck up a friendship. He's hard to not love. Like, you'd have to really work at it. So I started just getting to know him better. And then before you know it, he offered my very sweet little L piano lessons. And that's how we continued, I guess, getting to know each other better. So we went to his house every week. And my favorite things about him is he's funny. He's hysterical. And I think there is no one that makes me laugh more than Opa. He just makes me laugh almost every day. So, and I do text him almost every day. So, and I love him.
My name is Anna Kurtu. I know Mr. Liebau from Hope Church. I'm the church pianist here. That's how we met. He started helping me with my lessons. My favorite thing about him is how he's so funny and he makes things so simple and I can understand it a lot easier.
Great.
Well, my name is Maury Reinard. I know Ray from back in 1974 when I first took a class from him. And then I was able to have him as my horn teacher of record at Ole Miss when I was taking lessons from a professor up at Memphis State. He was my teacher of record at Ole Miss, and I got to learn how to work with a pianist and learn how to work with him. And he was a great, great person, and I became part of his family. And he became part of mine. In fact, he's closer to my own family, I think. And one story is... Gee, there are too many. We cut down a steel tree together. We've battled kudzu together. And he let me borrow Big Green, and he almost passed me on the interstate, but the trailer did that I was carrying behind it. So we've been through a lot together, Ray and I.
What's your favorite thing? What was one favorite thing?
His family. The family was great. They took me in. They took care of me. They helped me through everything, and I can't be more indebted to them.
And my name is Karen Reinert. I met them through Maury. When we married, he said, "You have to meet my good friends in Arkansas." So we came to see them, and then we went to Branson with them, and we just became real close. They were so loving and caring and sweet and just took me in like I had always been there. So I love them dearly.
Okay, so I am Alexis Hall. Trey Hall, his grandson, is my husband, and I met him back in 2018 whenever we first started dating. One of my favorite things about him, I don't think there's anything I don't like about him, but he is an amazing, I love that his name is Ray because he's a ray of sunshine. He really is. And we just love how giving he is and how thoughtful he is. And everybody here is just a culmination of all the love and gratitude that we just all have for him and that he shows to all of us. So we love you, Opa.
My name is Martha Reeder, and I know him because he was my teacher in graduate school. And my favorite thing about him, boy, that's really hard because there are so many. I guess my favorite thing is the way he's patient and kind, and the way he just, I learned so much from him about music and about life.
Billy Grimes, married to Barbara Grimes, and that's how I got to know him. Great guy. We've known him for years, gone on vacations with us, and he's always has something brilliant to tell you.
My name is Zeke Listenby. I was one of Mr. Liebau's music students in 1996 when I was a junior in high school. So I took from him my junior year and my senior year in high school. And he is phenomenal in everything. I think he walks on water pretty much. He transformed me, not so much as my playing. My playing, I think, was number two. The number one thing that he helped do for me was he transformed me as a person. He believed that who I was enough. I didn't have to change or do anything different. He helped use who I was and develop it into something even greater. I think out of my entire experience working in the collegiate world, he was the only person who didn't try to break me down and turn me into something else. He acknowledged who I was and just let me expound on that. And 30 years later, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still as impressed as I was when I was 16 years old. And I think he is not from this planet. I think it's phenomenal. I love him. I'm glad that he is still here to enjoy and to hear the fruits of his labor is what he's put into other people after all these years.
Favorite thing about him?
I'm Brenda Shometsky. I studied with Mr. Liebau at the end of his career at Ole Miss. The year I graduated is the year he retired. My favorite thing about Mr. Liebau is his easygoing nature and sense of humor and just love for life in general. He makes everybody at ease, and he brings that through in his music and his approach to just enjoying music and life. It's just a wonderful blessing.
I'll start with a hard one. My name is Jason Roberts. Who I am, how I know Mr. Liebau, what my favorite thing about him is. I met Mr. Liebau at piano camp in the 1900s, as the young people say, in the mid 90s. I graduated in 95, so it was in the early 90s, and sort of resolved that I wanted to study piano with him. So after 2 years at Hines Community College, where I met Brandon and Brenda, we all transferred to Ole Miss and studied piano there. That's how I know him. And then my favorite thing about him, obviously there's a lot of things, but when I think back about what it was that made me want to be like him, was that he was a grown-up, a professional musician, even though that didn't end up being what I became. I am a university professor, and the obvious joy for what he does and the way that he shares that, and the wicked sense of humor. So I am often accused, to Mr. Liebau's credit, I suppose, as much as to my own, of having an infectious enthusiasm and a bad sense of humor. So those would be my favorite things about Mr. Liebau.
Hello, I'm Brandon Buffington, and I became a student of Mr. Liebau's in college at Ole Miss. Graduated in '99. We all graduated together. That was the same year that he retired and we graduated, so we say that we graduated together. And my favorite thing about Mr. Liebau is that he has a way of making you feel special. He has a way of making you feel loved, especially at a time when you may not feel loved and you may not feel special, but just something about him. He just has a way of making you feel that you're loved and that you're special and that you're cared for and that you are important. And to me, that has been life-changing. And so, to me, that is what makes Mr. Liebau incredibly special.